Hi, job seekers. Welcome back to yet another episode of Let's Hear It From, a career podcast powered by My Job Factory, where we learn from industry leaders who have mastered more rules and roles than we have mastered our weekend plans. Today's guest is someone whose career journey reads like a greatest hits of the Indian industry, from Asian Paints to Pidilite to Onida to Sheila Foam, and now the CEO of Sintex. He has built brands, built teams, and probably fixed more business problems than we have fixed our sleeping schedules. He is a leader in strategy, sales, marketing, brand management, and basically the kind of resume that makes even LinkedIn feel underqualified. But what I'm most excited about today is hearing his wisdom on hiring, leadership, and the human side of building great careers. So, without wasting a single second, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Let's hear it from Nilesh Mazumdar, the CEO of Sintex. Nilesh ji, we are thrilled to have you here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vijay, and lovely to be here with you.
Yeah, thanks so much, sir, once again. I quickly come to the first question. Nilesh ji, you have led teams across some of the India's biggest and the most iconic organizations like Asian Paints, Pidilite, Onida, Sleepwell, and now Sintex. Nilesh ji, tell me truly, when you look back at that incredible journey of yours, what are the leadership lessons that didn't just guide you but also shaped you? The ones that changed the way you build teams, make decisions, and lead people.
Very good question, Ajay. I think as I look back into my past experience of over 3 decades of having worked in different organizations, different roles, and organizations which have been in different stages of evolution, I think what my takeaway has been that to have a successful organization, there are 3 things which are absolutely critical. A is to have an engaged team.
Right.
Number 2, have a team which is collaborative.
Correct.
And third is a team which is passionate about what they are doing.
Absolutely.
So if you have these 3 things, I think you can do wonders.
Amazing. Engagement and passionate teams. Yes, that was such an apt answer. Nilesh ji, Syntax today is in a powerful phase of reinvention and momentum. How would you describe Syntax's company culture that drives it, and how do you make sure every hire not only fits into Syntax's company culture but also brings fresh new ideas that push Syntax forward today?
So if
Sorry.
I look at Sintex today, Ajay, and what kind of a culture that we have in this organization, I think the first and foremost thing that we look for is bias for action. In this organization, we want things done yesterday.
Oh my
So
God.
therefore, that becomes extremely important for us because we are in a competitive
Yes.
environment. It's a very, very strong brand, a brand which is synonymous with
Yes.
water storage tanks in this country, which brought in the concept of
Correct.
water storage tanks into India. Yeah. So we are in the process of reinvigorating the entire brand, and therefore, bias for action becomes extremely important. Second is hunger for growth,
Oh, I
because
see.
we are into different business verticals. We are also diversifying into new categories, and therefore, whoever is a part of the Syntex team and the Syntex journey has to have hunger for growth. And lastly, I think the ability to multitask, that you should be able to
Yes.
do 10 things at the same time and be able to handle them. It's all right if out of those 10 things, 3 don't work out, but the other
Okay.
7, if they succeed, it will do the job for us. And the
Yes.
ability to work together as a team, because we are rebuilding the organization, and therefore it's very important for us that people are able to work and collaborate with each other.
Such an insightful answer, Nilesh ji. I move on to the next question, which is something my favorite question, and that's the basic of hiring. Nilesh ji, when you are hiring someone, I know you love passionate team members, but while hiring someone, beyond polished resumes, beyond AI powered chat GPT powered resumes, and fancy designation, what are the real deeper qualities you look for, the traits that make you say, yes, this is someone I want him in my team?
Okay, good. So I think it depends on at which level one is hiring, right? So
Okay,
what one
okay,
is looking at when is hiring at, let's say at the junior to mid level, there are a certain set of things that we would be looking at, and when one is looking at media at the middle level or at the senior level hiring, there is
okay.
a certain different set of things that would be one would be looking at. So therefore, the hiring philosophy would accordingly change. But things which are common that I look at, one is authenticity.
Okay.
And it is very easy to understand when you're dealing with a candidate that how authentic the person is when you are having a conversation. It is, I would rather have a candidate tell me about where he has failed rather than
Right.
just telling me about successes, because
Success.
all of us come very well prepared for an interview,
Yes.
trying to show the best side of
Best
us,
side.
but one would
Absolutely.
also want to know what things have not worked out. The second and very important thing, of course, which cuts across all levels, is the culture fit. It
Okay.
is extremely important to get a candidate where there is who has a culture fit for the organization, and your ability to understand a culture fit would depend on your expertise, because the prior organizations the person has worked for, the way the person responds to questions, the
Correct.
kind of language that he or she uses, the body language. This
True.
tells us about the culture fit of the individual. So I think these are the two things which cut across everything else. At a junior level, one would also obviously look at functional skills, and
Right.
the functional skills is not just by looking at the CV of the person. What I personally prefer is to give them case studies or situations to see how they would respond, and therefore do they understand those situations and are able to apply the concepts of what they would have learned. But at the senior level,
Right.
functional skills are given, isn't it? At a senior level, you're
Right.
not really checking for, if I'm recruiting at a CXO level, the functional competencies are always there. It will be more towards the culture fit that one would be
Right.
looking at.
Moving on to the next question. This question is a very specific question. Nilesh, every industry has its own high flying performers, the ones who rise fast and leave a mark. So, in your journey across FMCG, durables, non durables, what common threads, what common personality traits have you spotted in the professionals who grow at a lightning speed?
Uh, I just saw people who grow at a fast pace in any organization. I think
Oh, I see.
the first important thing that they have to have is adaptability. You
Yes.
should be able to adapt to different situations, to different roles that you are put into. So, therefore, that is point number one. Point number two is that people who have succeeded are also the people that when the going is tough and you have
Tough.
a requirement, when there is a challenging situation, they are the first to raise their hands.
Right.
You do not only look at roles which are comfortable, but you also look at those where the going is tough, and they are the first guys to raise their hands when a situation of that kind demands. And last but not the least, their
Okay.
ability to work with people all across all stakeholders, which means with the team below at a peer level, as well
And
as
the
people
seniors.
who are at the top and seniors. So, therefore, when you are able to handle all stakeholders properly, those are the people who would also do well, because at the end of the day, when you work in an organization, your success depends on how the entire ecosystem around you performs in the organization, and not just you individually.
Absolutely, absolutely. Such an insightful answer, Nilesh ji. Moving on to the next question is something, how to handle those individuals that don't work out, because great leaders are often defined not by how they handle their best hires, but also how they respond to the ones that don't work out. I'm basically talking about bad hires when you find yourself in this difficult situation, what's your approach, Nilesh, both as a decision maker and as a human being?
Sure. I think this. I have always found that these are the situations where senior managers find
Right.
difficult to handle. The philosophy I have followed in these kind of situations, Ajay, is fairly simple. First is you go through a process of counseling and feedback. Give feedback to the individual to tell him or her that where the person needs to improve, where the person is not able to understand, and give the feedback straight away instead of trying to in kind of camouflage it. The second thing that I generally do is do much more hand holding for the person so that you are helping him or her in navigating and making decisions or correcting where they might be going wrong, and therefore have more closer and more frequent reviews with them to in order to assist them. But at the end of all this, if it's still not working out,
Working out.
then it is
Yes.
best for both the organization and for the individual that you part ways. Because
Absolutely.
what happens in these kind of situations is that if the person you have now given it your best shot as an organization and is not working out, then it is unfair both on the organization as well as on the candidate, because you know the candidate is
Right.
not going to do
It,
well and the
yes.
organization is also going to suffer. So the best thing
Suffer
is then to part ways in a human manner.
amicably.
Give enough of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Such
yeah.
a clear answer, job seekers. If anybody is listening, this was one very most important piece of advice. Nirejji, moving on to the next question is on your advice to the young generation, because today's job market is changing faster than most people are updating their resumes. For young professionals who are trying to build not just a job but a long term and a meaningful career, what's that one piece of advice you believe they absolutely need to hear right now?
Okay. I think when job seekers are looking at now the job market and how the environment is changing, you have to be
Right.
clear what is the value you are getting onto the table. So,
Right.
what is the upskilling that you have done for yourself? What skill sets have you acquired? And how is it that you are able to differentiate from the other 10 other people who will apply for the same job? Because if I'm interviewing, I'm looking at 10 candidates who have applied for the same role.
Right.
I both or all 10 of them will have some kind of a similar education background, maybe number of years of experience, etc. Amongst that, those 10, one will need to pick up, right? And therefore, how is it that I'm going to differentiate myself? You need to be clear. Number one. Number two, I would always advise people to do their homework properly. When you are joining an organization, uh, most preparation happens on how the candidate will respond to questions. I also believe in allowing every candidate a chance to ask questions. And if you have done your homework around the organization and you ask the right pertinent set of questions, I then understand that this person is genuinely serious and has applied his mind.
Okay.
This is one aspect which I find many candidates miss out. They are in such a rush to apply for jobs that they don't do their homework about the organization that they want to apply for. And you don't need to apply for each and every organization.
Right.
You should be by and large be clear which kind of industry you are working at. Do your work there, understand the industry, and then go ahead. And the last piece, which I said in the beginning, also be authentic.
Yes, yes. Job seekers, stop applying to all the jobs at 3 a.m. in the morning, and of most of which you are going to forget by the same sunrise. So, moving forward, let's talk about the talent of the future. Nileshji, if we had to predict the talent of the future, the ones who will thrive, the talent who is going to innovate and lead, what skills, mindset do you see becoming absolutely non-negotiable in your industry?
Okay. Good question, Ajay. And I think that I had a crystal ball to be able to predict that the
Oh my
speed at which it
goodness.
is changing.
Great.
I think the pace of change is quite fast. Some of the stuff which obviously is happening is in this entire space of whether you call it digital, whether you call it AI.
Yes.
So this space is changing quite a lot, and therefore a lot of roles currently will become redundant. and therefore you need to be clear that when next 5 years down the line, how the industry is going to evolve, you should be well prepared for it from a skill set, and therefore what kind of skills that the industries and organizations are going to require with the advent of AI coming in, digital coming in, etc. You need to be clear. For example, what I'm told now is that AI is even used for recruitment. So therefore, the HR department needs to be prepared. And I think 10 years back, HR didn't have to worry about
Yes.
what's going on in the digital space. The second thing is, and which stays always, is that your people management skills
Right.
always is extremely important when you have to succeed. Because at the end of the day, barring certain jobs, if you are in a highly technically specialized job, for example, if you are making spaceships for NASA, etc. Other than that, the specialization requirement in most jobs is something which is not so very difficult. As you grow up the organization ladder, more than your
Yes.
functional skills, your people management skills become important, and how will you get work done with and through others, and that will
No,
all count.
in any which way, people management skills are going to stay, and those are the most important skills. I move on to
Yes.
the next question, which is on your leadership skills. Nilesh ji, in tough phases, of your journey, when pressure rises, uncertainty creeps in, how do you keep your team members not only just motivated, but also deeply connected to the larger purpose of the company?
Yeah, I think lovely question there, Ajay, and this one goes through every time. I think the approach that I have always followed in these kind of situations is that number one, communicate, communicate,
Communicate.
communicate.
Yes, yes. My
Communicate
goodness.
to down the line, to the frontline people, to the factory, to the shop floor. Always lead from the front and communicate. Be transparent in setting what the expectations and the challenges are. Be absolutely transparent so that people exactly know what's going on, and therefore
Right.
there is no uncertainty or ambiguity in their mind. And B, provide them the safety net that people obviously will need to stretch, take different kind of actions, make different decisions. The organization should be able to provide them with that safety net, that that one is there behind you to take care. So just go out there and hit
Yes.
the ball.
Yes, communication such an important thing. Job seekers, if you are listening, that was one piece of amazing advice for you, sir. Coming back to hiring once again, sir, can you quote us? Can you give us as example? Have you ever hired somebody primarily for his potential rather than just his experience or his educational qualifications on paper? What made you take that call, and how did it turn out to be successful? Can you quote one example in your current or your past assignments?
Okay. Uh, I don't think I will be able to. I remember an example of hiring, but after I had someone on board, and how I have moved a person from one role to a completely different role, and I will give you that example. So I had an individual who was a B2B business specialist. He had spent almost 15 years of his life in B2B business. And there was a requirement in the B2C space, which is a very, very different kind of
Right. Yes.
role, function requirement, etc. And I had moved this person from B2B to a senior level at B2C. And he did very well beyond that.
Oh, I see.
Uh, I think what one looks at there are essentially two things. One, attitude. What is the person's attitude?
Correct.
And the person's penchant for learning. Is the person ready to learn? Because as we go through our professional life, your learning in every role that you do becomes very important, and therefore do you still have that aptitude for learning? And if an employee has that, then
Yes.
as an organization one would always back him up, moving into roles which are very different from what his past functional and experience would have been.
Amazing. Learnability is one key thing which is, which needs to be imbibed as early as possible. I come to the last question of this particular episode. Nilesh ji, everyone, from the newest fresher to the most seasoned professional has this hidden dream of one day I'm going to become the CEO of this organization, but not everybody becomes one. In your experience, what separates the dreamers, from the ones who actually made it to becoming a CEO? What part should ambitious job seekers start craving right now?
I wish I could give the formula for that Ajay, but I think I have followed one very simple philosophy. So whatever I have in my limited experience learned, that I will share with you, that every time that you have to take a decision by remembering what is good for the organization.
Oh, I see.
So as long as you have that as a guiding principle, that I will do whatever is right for the organization, it will help you in taking a lot of decisions and you will be able to get results. Once you are able to get results, then career growth on its own in any case happens. So that is number one.
Yes.
Number two, keep on preparing yourself for the next role. We give up learning, after 20 years into our career, we think that we now know it all. Or you have to keep on adding value to yourself by your own initiative and not just depend on something else, because you interact with people, you have to learn. You read, you learn. You look at what other organizations are doing, you learn. You have to constantly add value to yourself if you want to progress in your career at any level.
Yes, such an apt piece of advice, job seekers. If you're learning, definitely you need to update your resumes right now and get learnable. All right, Nilesh ji, it is time for a rapid fire question. With the questions are going to be very short, sharp, and smart questions. You are not allowed to do overthinking, no diplomatic CEO pauses, just pure instinct. Ready? My first question goes to you right now. One quality you instantly notice in a candidate.
Authenticity.
Great. A corporate myth you wish every people should stop believing.
A corporate myth everyone should stop believing. That the day you join the organization, you will be working on creating the strategy for the organization.
Oh my goodness. Right, absolutely. One thing you think every young professional should unlearn.
Don't give too much of value to yourself.
Oh my God.
When we as an organization, we are recruiting you. In the first year, the organization is investing in you. You will start contributing after a year down the line. So don't take yourself too seriously.
Too seriously. Wow. I wish I could have. Somebody should have told me 15 years before. One mistake you see repeatedly too often in interviews.
You try to answer questions like a parrot.
Oh.
You have mugged up your answers, and you try to almost like a parrot come out and give those responses. It's a very artificial way.
My goodness. And in on the top of that,
be natural.
Yeah, be natural. And on the top of that, ChatGPT has come. I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, moving on to the next question. If you would not have been a business leadership now, what alternate career you would have chosen?
Oh, that's very easy for me. I would have been a photographer.
Wow. Last question of this rapid fire section. One word that describes your leadership style today.
Genuine. I think I'm genuine.
Yes, I can make it out. The vibes are coming through this Zoom meeting also. Absolutely, you have hit the bullseye. And viewers, this brings us to the end of this particular episode of Let's Hear It From. A big thank you to Nilesh ji for sharing insights so sharp. And I'm pretty sure half of our listeners are actually rewriting their resumes right now. This is Let's Hear It From. I'm Ajay Dankar signing off. And before you run away to scrolling your videos once again, please do the Holy Trinity: like, share, and subscribe. It's not going to cost you anything. And share this video with someone who actually needs career guidance right now. So viewers, bye for now. Please take care and see you soon in the next episode of Let's Hear It From. Wow, done. Just a minute. possible.